This build commands a devastating force of arcane servants, hurling necrotic and fire magic with reckless abandon, disintegrating anything that dares stand in their path. At their side, in 638 corruption, a fearless fire golem, juiced to the brim, tanking entire mobs without flinching. And in the chaos, undead zombies charge headfirst into the fray, detonating with brutal precision, instilling a fear even the mightiest foes cannot withstand. No stone unturned, no enemy left standing. These are the arcane servants. Let's pay our grumpy old grandpa Aberoth a visit. We're off to a good start. We even got some of his first ward down, which is a good sign that our DPS is solid. You can see that in this stage his health is decaying pretty fast due to our good DPS. During this phase I didn't even notice that our skeletal mage that wore the Dreadshade buff had died, but I soon realized and quickly assembled another one with a buff. Closing into the final phase now. Aberoth does his Void Breath attack, and our arcane servants are simply standing there like nothing happened, face tanking it all without breaking a sweat. This goes to show that our minion survivability is quite okay. But I'm soon to eat my words. Final slam phase now. I survived with no problems, but my minions, total annihilation. I managed to resummon 4 of them in the chaos and throw a Dreadshade on. Quickly got the wraiths and the golem back as well. We stood our ground through all the chaos, and even though one of the skeletal mages and one of our wraiths didn't make it till the end, we did. We defeated the foul servant of Orbus. Next up, Abomination. Nothing major to note here, just solid, steady DPS. Next up, the Harbinger. Apart from keeping our minions away from his worst telegraphed attacks, we're simply talking good and steady DPS all the way. Now, if you've enjoyed watching these bosses being erased, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and buckle up as we dive into the details. At the heart of this build lies a core of necrotic and fire-wielding minions. Think of it as the slightly unhinged sibling of my necrotic exploder build, sharing some DNA but reworked into something else entirely. If you have already invested in the exploder setup, congrats, you're halfway to this one, and you'll recognize some familiar gear choices. Here your role is more like a battlefield commander. You support your undead crew, drop a Dreadshade and zombie here and there, but basically get out of the way while the minions tear reality apart. The star of the show is our Dreadshade boosted skeletal mages. These guys are pure necrotic artillery, skittering around rapid-firing dark energy like they're on a mission from death itself. To ramp up their power, we invest fully in the Forbidden Arcana node, which adds 5% more damage per 25 max mana. With 460 mana, that's 92% more multiplicative damage just from this one synergy. To hit that mana threshold, we tap into the Warlock passive node, granting 1 mana for every point of intelligence. And since intelligence also scales our minion skill damage, flat minion health and ward retention, every point gives us quadruple value. We stack all available points to get the full 5 skeletal mages, both from the skill tree and the passive tree. That's our necrotic death squad locked in. Let's talk fire rates. We summon 2 of them thanks to the Twin Spirits node, which prevents the health decay but limits their count. With full points and sequel of Avarice, we bulk them up, increasing size, damage and health, making these 2 fiery ghosts absolute monsters. We ensure a high chance to summon them as fire rates by maxing the Flame Wraith node and equipping an idol with at least 50% conversion chance. This way we are fairly confident that whenever we need to resummon them, we will get 2 fire rates very quickly up on their feet. Other keynotes here include base crit chance and health leech, and the node giving us a massive 90% crit multiplier. And then there's the zombies, the chaotic cherry on top. These aren't just fillers, they hit hard as well. We stack into Grave Attunement for 45% more multiplicative damage, as well as node for ward on death, kill threshold and increased explosion area. The result? Mini nukes that detonate on demand, boosting our defense along the way. Up front we got a fire golem as our frontline menace. It taunts, tanks and burns through mobs, all while benefiting from the fire damage buffs we stacked throughout the passive tree. He's our flaming enforcer. As for Dreadshade, this skill is just simply mandatory for mini builds, right? We always cast it on a skeletal mage, but since both the mages and wraiths are ranged, they all benefit from its aura. We remove the health decay with Lone Watcher and then pump it full with offensive steroids. Lingering Doom for flat necrotic damage, Dying Coven for attack and cast speed, Grim Fate for a 60% more multiplicative damage. This combo turns our mages into necrotic turrets and our wraiths into dynamite. We also get great offensive value from gear. The Phantom Grip Ring gives us +2 levels to minion skills, 4% base minion crit chance and a big mana boost, which ties right into our damage scaling. Then there's the 3 LP Ribbons of Blood Ring. Not the perfect match for this build, but it still shines. Prevents our minions from taking critical hits, boosts our health and cranks up the minion leech rate. For body armor, we go with the tier 7 intelligence chest with a high minion crit chance, on a very solid defensive base item for this build. Our relic also has a tier 7 intelligence roll on the best possible base for this build, though some suffixes are still tier 2 and tier 4, plenty of room for upgrades there. In terms of stats priorities, look for base crit chance for skeletal mages, increased minion crit chance, flat minion spell damage, minion necrotic damage, minion fire damage and plus levels to any minion skill. Our weapon is a Soul Harvester one-handed axe, giving us great minion spell damage rolls while letting us equip an offhand. The offhand of choice is once again Opulent Focus, stacking intelligence, ward per second and ward retention, which helps with both survivability and DPS scaling. Now, I did give the new Blight of Lachesis unique staff from Season 2 a test run, also for this build. On paper it's spicy, up to 2 more skeletal mages, solid minion damage and +2 levels to necrotic skills. But here's the catch, you'll lose the tanky sustain from the Opulent Focus offhand. Even with good suffixes, the staff leans hard into glass cannon territory. In this setup, reliability beats risk, so I stuck with the Soul Harvester axe plus offhand combo. Amulet wise, the Death Rattle is always an option for heavy damage stats, but it also makes minions take more damage. The Exalted Amulet we're using here offers excellent defensive value while still boosting minion health and damage, which feel like a better fit overall. For blessings, we take the increased minion damage from the Spirits of Fire timeline. Mine rolled at 94%, nearly perfect. Passives, 3 standout nodes do serious lifting. Moonlight Pyro giving flat necrotic and fire damage, Rite of Undeath giving 15% elemental and necrotic damage per point, and Blades of the Forlorn giving us 70% minion crit multiplier. With all the chaos of necrotic shrapnel and kamikaze zombies flying everywhere, someone's gotta keep us standing. That's where the golem comes in. It's our personal war beast, a living wall that dives headfirst into danger, pulling enemy aggro and taking hits so we don't have to. It packs a punch, with its main job being to keep threats away from us, and it does it very well. This build leans into a hybrid ward and health setup. When things are calm, we idle at over 6,800 total EHP, not bad at all. But in combat, ward generation kicks in hard, spiking our effective health pool to well above 8,000. That's a hefty buffer between us and a loading screen. So, what's fueling all that ward? It starts with the build's workhorse, Summon Volta's Zombie. Thanks to the Wisp-Weaver passive, we generate ward equal to 100% of mana spent when casting minion skills. And since we're slamming that button all the time, it's an endless stream of ward with every cast. And then there's the what happens after they explode. Every time one of our zombies goes out with a bang, which is their whole purpose, we gain more ward through the vital ward node of the Summon Volta's Zombie tree. These little guys blow up constantly and every death feeds our ward bar. On top of that, the Reclamation of Souls passive from the Necromancer tree grants 35 ward per minion death. With so much carnage on the field, that adds up in a flash, turning minion death into pure sustain. Another important ward buffer is the unique Bone Clamor Barbute helmet. It gives 1 ward per second for every 3% uncapped necrotic resistance. Stack it high, and that's a steady stream of passive ward income before combat even starts. With good affixes like a tier 7 ward per second and tier 5 intelligence, this helm becomes a defensive powerhouse. Speaking of intelligence, this stat does some serious heavy lifting. Every point not only increases minion skill damage, but also boosts flat minion health and ward retention for us. It's the star of the show, and we stack it aggressively. When it comes to resistances, we're in a great spot. Everything is capped. Well, almost everything. Poison resistance is slightly under, but that's usually the least urgent to max. Cold resistance is off by 1%, but hey, we need some room for improvement, right? Armor sits at around 1095, which is okay, but nothing more. And if you're playing hardcore, you might want to swap the increased minion damage blessing from the Fire Shamans with the flat armor blessing instead. It's a worthwhile trade-off if you're looking to push survivability even further. As for movement speed, we're not sluggish at all. With the Terrace Path boots and the juicy tier 7 movement speed affix, we hit 63%. More than enough to reposition comfortably, dodge big telegraphs or just moonwalk through the aftermath of a mob wipe. For idols, the strategy is simple. Stack up increased health, ward retention and ward per second, in combination with armor and resistances. Also make sure you leave room for the idol that gives a massive chance to summon fire rates. It's a key piece for offense and uptime. On the critical strike avoidance side, the bulk of it comes from the Emperor of Corpses blessing, but you'll still want to plug in an affix or two from your gear to comfortably hit that 100% cap. As for leveling, it's fairly straightforward, and most of the skills are available early on. From the start, go all in on Summon Skeleton, and after a couple of more levels, Summon Bone Golem. At level 20, specialize in Summon Wraith. After 5 points invested in the Necromancer passive tree, start using Summon Skeletal Mage and specialize in it as soon as you reach level 35. At level 50, replace Summon Skeleton with Dreadshade. Follow the detailed progression sliders for each skill in the build planner in the video description. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and even consider joining as a member. And to see my other last Epoch build guides, click on the video card showing on the screen right now.